All right, guys, I'm actually jumping on a little bit earlier today, not for the call itself, but to actually just do some back-end work. So you can watch as I'm doing that. I'm basically preparing the game plan for the week ahead. So the normal call is still going to start in 21 minutes. I'm just going to do some background work in the meantime. Okay, so I'll just run through the steps that I'm doing. So every single week, I prepare a game plan for the week ahead. So this basically is what we are going to be doing, with regards to the strategies for the trading week ahead. So I haven't updated this one since last week. So the only thing I have updated so far is just the date, because there is a new assembly that was released. So I'm just going to check something on my side to make sure everything's working as it is. And it is. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to have our group Zoom call starting in 21 minutes. This is the link to all the live videos that we have. Okay. So I'm just going to proceed with this. Okay, so for the trading week ahead, the normal procedure is for everybody to run the script. So it doesn't help running it right at this moment if you're watching live. It's only going to help running it after the call or after these game plan templates have actually been set up for the week ahead. So those are the steps for it anyway. So I'm just going to skip ahead. So I'm still going to keep the workspace called that, which is very simple to do. And then we're going to go and proceed with this. Okay, so this week we're going to be running an RTY chart. So if I look at my chart, we're still running the RTY chart, 25.15. Now, all of this week, we're going to have the templates changed to a different value. So if I look at the actual templates for the week ahead, which are over here, don't need that. If I look at the templates for the week ahead, if I look at the strategy templates, because we're running the baseline wick trader this week, and I bring that up, you'll see over here, templates load. All of our templates this week are going to have 28 April in them. So all the ones from last week, I'm actually going to remove them just to get them out of the way. So 21, we're going to remove this one. And we're looking at all the ones that say 21. I mean, obviously this is something that I do in the back end. This is not something that you guys are going to be doing. Because when you run your script that comes with the DTB system, automatically all of your old ones will actually be removed. Okay, so 28 April to today. So on the game plan, if I go back over here, all of these, 21 April to today, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go copy. I'm going to go control and find. And this is to replace the document. So I'm going to find that. And I'm going to replace that with 28. So I'm just trying to also make the background process of mine all very simple. So replacing all. Okay, so now all of them are going to say that. Okay, going back to the beginning. Okay, 28 April to today. Perfect. Okay, so RTY. Let's have a look at the first one. So RTY is a chart of a 25.15. The date is going to be 28 April to today. So what I'm going to do is go straight to that chart, which was this one over here. So we've got RTY. If I go to my data series, you'll see 21st. So I'm going to change that to 28. Now again, when you guys load this workspace later, these dates will automatically be populated. So I'm just going to do that on this chart. 28th of April up until today. Okay, I'm going to go to the strategies and I'm going to go to baseline wick trader and I'm going to go template load. So this is what you guys are going to be doing for this week. So you're going to be looking at this document and you're going to load exactly what it says on there. Okay, so again, you're looking at this. You're looking at template number 5, which is the RTY, 28th of April to today. You're going to load that up, and that's going to pre-populate all the settings on there. Now, I haven't got my live account loaded for this one, so I'm just going to choose the sim account. Obviously, you guys are going to choose your account, and later when I do this on my account, I will choose my account. So you activate the strategy, enable, apply, and OK. Give that a moment to calculate, and also give NinjaTrader a little bit of time to calculate over there. Okay, so if I look at that, I should have a look at the actual settings. What I've also got over here is I've got the optimization, but we'll cover that in a moment. So these are the templates that we're going to be running. So before I continue with the templates themselves, as part of this workspace, I'm also going to include the strategy analyzer. So the strategy analyzer is what was used to create these templates. So basically, if you had to open up your workspace, when you do, you'll be able to see a separate window saying strategy analyzer, and this is what the settings are. So if you wanted to go into the strategy analyzer yourself, you could go and make some adjustments to the settings, or you could rerun the settings yourself, maybe even modify like your daily target, your daily stop. So that's something that you can actually do on there. Okay, so that is the strategy. So what I'm going to do now is I've confirmed that those results are correct. So what I'm going to do on my side is I'm going to take a photo, a screenshot of this. I'm going to copy it and then go to the game plan. Okay, delete this picture and paste. So what I've done is I've basically just taken a screenshot of the screen to show you guys what the results are. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to do the same for the results. So I'm going to go to my chart, strategy performance, real time and historical. I'm going to maximize this. I'm going to put analysis on here, and I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Okay, so screenshot of that, copy, and come back to this chart and paste. So why do I take these screenshots? So the main reason for this, or to make sure that everybody's on the same page, is that when you guys run the game plan, you're able to load up the strategy on the chart. You're able to compare your chart against what I have put on this document. And then also look at the historical history of your strategy to see if it matches. If this matches exactly or very, very close, remember you've got to include commission and all of that. If this matches, then you know that your strategy settings are correct for the week ahead. Then you could just let them run. Okay, so that's number one, the RTY. Now I'm going to do the same for the MNQ. So MNQ is a 50-30 bars. We're still using the baseline week trader. And we're going to be using template number 6, 28th of April to today. So we'll go do that. Okay, so you can close the strategy performance, and you can restore that to the main size. And now you go to your MNQ. So first of all, we're going to go to data series, and we're going to make sure that the date is the 28th. Now again, like I mentioned, when I save this as a workspace and you load this workspace later, it will automatically adjust these values. But it's always a good idea just to check it anyway. Okay, 28th. Okay, strategies. Baseline wick trader. Template, load. So we're looking at the MNQ. This was the one here, 28 April to today. There's two over here, but we're going to cover the second one next. So remember the exact same one that we're seeing over here. Okay. Perfect. So once we see that, we load that up and we choose our account we're going to run it on. Enable, apply, and OK. Again, I'm going to just check my strategy analyzer to see if the settings that I've put in there are matching my optimization results. So I'll just give NinjaTrader a moment to catch up. Okay, 3.3, so perfect. So I'm going to increase the size of this one again. So remember, this strategy only trades between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. So it only trades for 2 hours of the day during the week. That's New York time, obviously. Okay, so let's take a screenshot of this. Copy, going back to the game plan, MNQ, and paste that over there. Okay, go to the historical results. So strategy performance, real time and historical, and increase this. Analysis. Okay, so this is what the MNQ has done with those historic results. Same thing there. I'm taking a screenshot of that. I'm going into my game plan and I am pasting that. Okay, perfect. So that was the first one, the second one. Now the third one is another MNQ. So I've actually created 2 MNQ templates. And the reason why I did that is because the first template enters a bit more trades, enters up to 4 trades at once, whereas the second template can enter maximum of 2 entries. So this is basically for those who've got a very small micros account. So let's go and do that one. Again, we'll close this. And it's the second tab as mentioned. So I'm going to go to strategies, baseline wick trader, and I'm going to go template load MNQ, and this time we're choosing the one that says 2 entries. Load, and you'll see over there it's actually got the first entry and the second entry ticked, the third and the fourth are not ticked. So that means it's only going to take 2 of the 4 entries. So even though these fields are populated for the trade size and everything, they're still only going to take the first 2 trades. And I've got 2 and a 2. That's the size of the trades. Okay, again, scroll down to the bottom. Now we are going to cover a little bit more about the account daily profit and target, but we'll do that just now during the session in a few minutes. Okay, perfect. So there is our MNQ. Now that's busy loading. So Doug, I see a comment from you, Douglas. Sorry, I don't understand that. I can use a translator, but not while I'm in the middle of what I'm doing. Okay, perfect. So that is the MNQ2 contract. As you can see, only a few trades. You know, there's the positions. Okay, so we're going to take a screenshot of this first. Okay, copy. Go to our MNQ, which is the second one. Just make sure I'm not replacing the wrong one. So that was the RTY, that was the MNQ, and this is the duplicate one. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not replacing the wrong one. Again, it's got the same name, because that's the 2 entries. Okay, going back to this chart and go to the strategy performance, real time and historical, and we'll increase this to the analysis. Okay, and then I'm going to screenshot this too. It's the same process. I'm trying to do it the absolute same process for everything, so that we've literally got a very fluid process. There's no differences in what we're actually doing. Okay, so now the NQ. Now this one. Okay, so the NQ. So we're going to go to the top again because there's only a slight modification this week. I'm not using the SI strategy this week. So I'm actually going to be using the NQ strategy. So it's very similar to the MNQ. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to make this over here. Paste that. Okay, and it's the NQ. It's the same size bar. It's just a different template name. So we're going to come back and adjust that. I'm pretty sure it's template number 7, but let's just go to the NQ chart. And we'll minimize this again. So strategies, baseline wick trader, and template, load, NQ. Okay, so it's template number 7 NQ. So I'm just going to go like this. I'm going to go copy. Okay, I'm going to copy that. Again, I'm going to just choose the account. And I just need that game plan again over here. So I just adjusted this template name. So again, this is not something you guys have to worry about because the template names are going to be updated on the document on your templates when you run your script. Okay, so that's number 7, NQ. And again, I'm just going to bring this template name that I just copied over there and go all the way down to that NQ. Okay, that was the MNQ, now NQ. NQ is the DTB bars 50/30 strategy used. Okay, it's not that strategy, so I'm going to have to change the name of that. Okay. DTB baseline wick trader. Okay. This is all very boring stuff for you guys, I'm sure, but at least you can see the back end of what actually happens. And the good thing about this too is if you guys seeing anything that I'm doing, you think, well, that's a stupid way of doing it. If you got a better way or simpler way or a more effective way, then definitely shout out. That'll be awesome. Okay, so NQ, let's go back to the NQ chart. We've got to hurry up. I've only got 5 minutes before I'm supposed to start the session or the call. Okay, so we're going to go, first of all, to the Strategy Analyzer tab. I want to check so that was the second MNQ. I want to check this NQ chart. So we've got a 15 and a 2. Okay, so I've got to go back over here. Remember, I probably didn't check the data series, right? There we go. I've got 14th of January. Okay, so that's what it's done up from January. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to change this because we're getting the latest, getting the heartbeat of the market, right? So we're going from the 28th of April to 26th of May. We're going to apply that. And that's basically what you've got to do first. You actually got to do all of that first. So first do the date. Okay, so that is the same values that I'm looking at. So I'm going to screenshot this, copy, go back to my game plan over here and paste that. Okay, and I've got to do the same thing over here. It's not the 14th of January. It is the 28th. Because we used a different strategy last week, which actually did work very well. But I'm just running all the same strategies for this week ahead. Okay, so 28th of April, and I just got to make sure I've got the same values over here in the strategy settings, 9 till 11. Okay, 9 till 11 a.m. Okay, so we've got to rename the template anyway. So I'm going to just take this template over here, which is this one. Copy. So obviously, as I'm updating this, you are going to see the updates happening in real time when you access this document. Okay, so remove that. I'm going to go back to my chart. Okay, over here, and I'm going to reduce that. Go strategy performance, real time and historical, increase that up, analysis, and adjust this accordingly. Screenshot this. Go back to the game plan and pop that in. Okay, NQ. Okay, now we got the GC. Okay, so GC, we've got 2 templates this week. This is going to take a bit longer than I actually envisioned, but that's okay. So GC. Okay, so for the GC this week, we've done that one there. So we're going to have 2 templates this week for the GC. So if I go to my strategies and I bring up the baseline wick trader and I go template load, you'll see that there are 2 GC templates. So the one is going to be a 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. So this is all New York time. So we're going to load that one up. And actually, I just need to go to the actual name of it again, because I need to put that on my document. Copy. Okay. I'm going to choose that again. Enable, apply, and OK. Again, I need to make sure that as you can see on the top of the chart there, if I've got a time there, you see the date. So that's a setting you can actually add to your chart. A very cool setting actually. So if you go to 28, apply, apply and OK. All right, guys, if you just jumped in, it is top of the hour and the group Zoom call is supposed to start right now. So let me just get my camera action going. There we go. So for the last 25 minutes, I've been just preparing the game plan for the week. And I'm actually going to just continue with that in this call because I didn't quite get to the end of it. So we'll just finish the game plan for the week and then we'll go into the result and we'll go into the rest of that. So I'll just deactivate the camera and the timer. Okay, so for those who haven't, who just jumped on, it's a really good idea to go and review the beginning of this video, especially if you want to know how the game plan works and what the back end of it is. And we're going to just carry on with that process right now. All right, so I was up until GC. So GC was the last one that I was actually working on. So if I go to my game plan document, you'll see GC is over there, and I'm actually going to copy and paste that template. So paste. You will see that there is number E. Okay. So now I'm going to scroll down on here to the GC, which is the GC template. Okay. And I'm going to remove that and paste this one. Piss off, not that one. I need to paste the chart. That's what I need to do. So once I've loaded the GC, I'm going to bring that up. That is what the chart looks like. I'll take a screenshot of that. I take a screenshot of the chart because sometimes it shows the historical trades on the chart. It's not really necessary to always watch out for that, but like there is like the last trades. But I just always show the end of the chart, just so when people load this up, they can see if it matches what they have on the on theirs. All right, paste this over there. Okay. So this template that I created, if I just go back to the strategies over here, I go to the strategies and I deactivate this. And I go template load. This should be the GC 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. So I need to just copy this. Okay. Enable, apply, and OK. And again, I can see my dates are not 100%, so I'm just going to adjust those dates. So if I go to my data series, you'll see 28th of April. Okay, so it is right. That's fine. Perfect. So I did that. Now I've got to do the results, right? So strategy performance. And I go real time and historical. I should be able to bring this up. Analysis. And do the same thing we've been doing. Okay. So copy. Go back to the document. Delete this. Paste. Okay, so again, this template name needs to be adjusted because it's got a slightly different name to what it says over there. So again, as you guys know, this is all going to be done for you. So this is just the back end work that goes in here to make sure that you guys are running these templates effectively. You got the right names in place, the right dates loaded. So it's a little bit of technical stuff behind the scenes to make sure that this is all working. So when you guys just load up this document, it's just there. But it's definitely worth it because I'm running these strategies myself, as you can see on the results. So I want to make sure they're right. I'm doing this for me as well. Okay, so delete this one and make sure I've got the exact same template there. So in case anybody just goes straight to that results page, they can, do that. Paste. All right, now go back to there. Take a screenshot of this. And paste it over there. Okay, so that's the 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. Now, because I added in an extra strategy this week, which we're going to discuss in a moment, which was the 3 a.m. to 8 a.m., I've actually got to increase, I've got to make another one here. So I've got to press enter, and then I've got to bring this back up again, so this doesn't go big. So, okay, so GC. So GC, come on, we don't want capital, we don't want bold, we want to keep it the same. So we're using the same strategy this week for the 3 a.m. as well as the 8 a.m. trades. So the next one is going to be, I just need to go to get the template name for it. So we'll do that when we load up that chart. So the second tab, so the first tab of the strategy is going to be trading from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. The second tab of the strategy, this one over here, I'm just going to load the right dates. So 28th of April to today. Okay. We're going to go to the strategies and load up the baseline wick trader. And we're going to template, load, and select the 8:45 to 11:30. Now, for the guys that I just jumped in a few minutes ago, you don't have access to these templates yet. I was just going through the creation and running of this game plan. So I'm going to copy that and load it. Okay, choose the account, enable, apply, and okay. I've got to go to my document here and screenshot this. Well, actually, before I screenshot that, I've got to just paste the name of the template and make it bold so that it matches the others. Okay, so that's the second template. Now, what I got to do is I basically got to go down to the bottom of the strategy here, the list, and we added an extra GC. So I'm going to just copy the format of this over here and go to the end of this page, which is over here, and add that one in there. Okay, and obviously go right to the beginning and get the actual template name that we used. As you can see, it's a lot of fiddling around with this. It's a lot of fiddling around, and there's a lot of double checking. I've always got there's a few double checking places in here to make sure that we've got the right thing. So when you guys set up this template, you are looking at something that's been double and triple checked. Okay, so that's the GC. Again, I'm going to make this in the center. I try to keep a specific format and a specific way of doing things, because that's the only way to get consistencies. If you do the same thing over and over again, you get the same results. That's right, So in that case, it works for you. You can do the same things over and over and get the same results, but that's good if you get in the right results, right? If you get in the wrong results, you don't want to be doing the same thing over and over again. Okay, real-time and historical. Bring that up. Analysis. Show this like this, and then screenshot it. Okay, so I have to screenshot it, but I will screenshot it because I've already got the screenshot in memory here. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to copy the format of this. Okay, historical performance. So I'm going to copy the format of this and put this on the results that I just popped over there, but using the right template name. Oh, come on. Shit. Okay, so template name, copy. And I talk to myself a lot during this process. So I know I'm dictating to you, but I do this in real time also. Just because I need to hear myself do what I'm doing. A bit weird, but that's how I operate. And sometimes I need to hear expert advice. I often talk to myself, you see? Okay, good. All right, so now that we've got the entire workspace done, okay, that was right. I'm just going to recheck the strategy. So go back to the GC chart, which is there. Go back over there, minimize it, or restore it, should I say. Make sure that this is the right data set, which I'm pretty sure it is. I just randomly recheck things. 23 and 5-1. Okay, so perfect. So that all matches. Now what I do for everybody's benefit is I just take a screenshot of my chart. So I'll go like this, and then I'll take a screenshot of everything. I normally do this after I've loaded my live accounts. I'm just doing it like this now just to show you guys. And then what I do is I say, this is what the workspace will look with all the charts loaded. Okay. And this is what the chart looks like with all 4 charts plus the extra MNQ I added for good luck. Okay, so I added MNQ plus GC PM. Maybe that's too much information. Plus GC. Okay, so there we go. So so if anybody looks at the game plan and they've gone to the end, this is what the result will be. And if it doesn't look like this, obviously, you've got to go back and see what's going on. Okay, so now that is done, the game plan document is done. All I have to do right now is do some other back-end work to save those templates. So if you give me a second, I'm going to just do that behind the scenes. I don't want to show you guys that process because that's more, into my website and stuff. So I'm just going to pause my my viewing of my screen. Perfect. Okay, and I'm just going to do that process very quickly. Take about 2 minutes to do that. So if you bear with me, I'm just going to process that. Okay, so how about some classical music while I'm doing that? come on. Why is this thing? Okay, almost done. 21, 21, 21, 21, and remove. Delete. Where the fuck's delete? Ah, there it is. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 chart templates, strategy templates. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so that's all I need to do. Oh, workspace. I need to do the workspace. Okay, so I need to go to the workspace. Workspace and save. Yep, save workspace. Perfect. Okay, NinjaTrader 8. NinjaTrader 8, workspaces. And workspaces. All right. Okay, so I've done the workspaces, I've done the strategy templates. I think that's all I need to do, right? Yeah, that's all I need to do. I should have a checklist for this, but I've done it so many times, it should be fine. Okay, so go to my website now and update those templates. Okay, in 10 seconds, I shall be done. Okay, a bit more than 10 seconds, sorry. I don't want to mess this part up, that's all. Where are we? Come on. Okay, open and upload. Okay, bada bing, bada boo. We are done for the game plan. So, if you guys had to run your script right now, okay, audio off. If you guys had to run your script right now, you will have, obviously with NinjaTrader closed. So if you close NinjaTrader, in fact, let's just do it actually. So I'm going to close NinjaTrader. Okay, I'm going to close NinjaTrader. Yes to all. It doesn't matter, I'm saving that. And I'm going to run the script. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly what you guys are going to be doing right now. So I'm going to run the script. I keep it on my desktop, or I keep it in my start menu. Okay, run the script and select number 1 on there. And this is going to update. So after you selected your profile, select number 4, which is going to be doing all of that. And I'm just going to pause that for a second. So that's the script is basically downloading all the templates, making sure you got the latest assembly, getting all of that installed, putting the templates exactly where they need to be. And you'll see that that will just continue working. And any questions, guys, pop them in the chat for the call. So the group calls Discord chat. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now that the script is run, the script will close, and then it's going to automatically open NinjaTrader in a high priority. So it's going to make sure that that's all set up properly. Okay. Okay, so when you reload NinjaTrader, it's going to open whatever workspace you had. So the first thing you would go to is go to Workspaces and choose your game plan for the week ahead. So as soon as you've done that, you've chosen your game plan for the week ahead, all of these charts are going to load up. And if you go to the data series, you will see that they automatically have updated to the correct days. So every single chart is going to be loaded, even the duplicate ones on the duplicate tabs, and they all should have the same data series in there, the same dates. Okay, so that's the benefit of loading up a workspace, is you've actually got everything nicely prepared for you to start the week ahead. So what we'll do is very quickly go through reactivating those strategies again. So important thing to do is just to wait for all of these charts to load. So a really good thing to do that. Some of them are taking a bit longer than others. You might have to right click on a chart and go reload all historical data if there's nothing coming up. So sometimes that is the way to go, reload all historical data. But generally after a few minutes, it just comes right. Okay. So if you've got the first chart working so far, you can right click on that chart. Remember, you're going to review the game plan. So we'll go through the game plan very quickly. You'll see that there's the game plan. So the first chart is an RTY chart. Now, obviously, you've watching this call, so that's good. You've run your script, which is exactly what it is. You've loaded up your workspace, which we just did. So you've done all of these first steps. So make sure you always read this, in the beginning. Sometimes I'll put an extra little thing in there, but it just takes you 2 minutes or 1 minute to read this at the beginning of the week, just to see if there's any specific changes that are there. Okay, so once you've done that, then you can start with your initial chart loading, because obviously you're going to be running these strategies for the week ahead. So these are, this is only a one-time setup thing and then just a daily refresh. Okay, so we're going to do the first one, which is the RTY. So we're going to go to the first one. We're going to choose our strategies and we're going to go baseline week trader. We're going to go template. We're going to go load. And we're going to load that RTY one. So everybody that's run the script now will have these templates in their folder. You don't even have to go download them or look for them. They're all there. So that's one of the beauties of what we've created over here. So loading that up, it's going to pre-populate all the settings that we need. Again, you can choose your account you're going to trade on and enable, apply, and OK. Okay, so and you do that with every single chart. Okay, so as soon as you've got that chart loaded, a good thing to do is just to have a look at the results. So it says 5145 and at the 404 drawdown, you go to the game plan document and say, oh, look, okay, it actually matches. Shit, okay, well, that matches perfectly. I don't even have to look at the historical performance because I know it matches. Go to the next one and then so on and so forth. Okay, so that is basically how you run the game plan. Now, I showed you obviously the back end of how it is created. And obviously, I'm doing the game plan right now, but eventually I'm going to have a whole team putting together the game plan and doing optimizations. We've got a few of our members at the moment doing optimizations, which is really awesome. But, eventually we're going to have a whole team of people running optimizations for all different instruments, for all different times of the day, preparing game plan documents for different markets. I mean, it's going to be a freaking monster of a business once, this is all set up. For multiple different markets. Okay, so before we continue, we're not going to continue with setting up every single strategy on the game plan because you're just basically repeating what we just did. But we're going to jump straight into the updates to the strategy. Okay, so I'm going to just deactivate this specific strategy on this chart, and we'll just go through what has been updated on this. So first of all, there's been a complete revamp of the DTB SI indicator, which is the indicator that is basically behind all of these strategies. So I've just included extra checks and balances to make sure that all the settings that the indicator is producing are valid and are double checked and triple checked. So it's just a lot of housework behind the scenes on the indicator itself. None of it which you will see, you'll just carry on experiencing the results. Now with the strategy itself, if we go into the strategy settings, you will see over there that the top of it is the same. So you still got your entry distances, your stops and your targets and all of that. Okay. But you'll notice over here under the trade size, you've got a unique strategy ID. So this is helpful if you are running multiple different strategies on the same chart. So you can run up to 3 strategies per chart. But you want to be able to differentiate which strategy is entering which orders, right? I mean, otherwise it's all going to be combined. So what I've done is I've added in a little unique identifier. So I've called it template. Let's call it, you might want to call it, 9 a.m. Okay, say the strategy is trading from 9 a.m. so you can put 9 a.m. Okay, so obviously, so first of all, you're loading the template like you're doing. And, I might even make this. I might even save this later as 9 a.m. Okay, maybe I'll just do that. But for you guys, when you activate the strategy, you can put your own identifier in there, whatever you want to use, and apply that. We'll see the result of that in a moment. Okay, so move on from that. The start time, stop trading time, that's all the same. That's all the same. The email, that's all good. The signals are there. That's all fine. Global money management. Okay, so I've also done a whole revamp of the strategy targets and stops. Okay, so strategy targets and stops. We've been experiencing situations where, the target and the stops have been like way exceeded because the strategy is working on bar close. So remember how normally the strategy works is every single time it takes an order, it could take multiple orders per bar, but then only when a bar closes does it recalculate and check the daily stops and targets. So sometimes a bar can close 30 or 40 ticks away from where we're supposed to get out the market. And that is leading to larger stops because it's working on bar close. Okay, so the strategy is still working on bar close, but what I have done now is I've included an inbuilt data series for bar close for the strategy targets. So what this basically means is that every single time the daily stops and targets are checked, it is checked against the bar size that is listed over here. So this is a 10 range bar. Okay, so this strategy, for example, is running on a 25.15 on top. So it's still going to calculate on bar close, and if a trade hasn't exited and the bar close has happened on the primary data series, it will still exit the positions if it has exceeded. But it's first going to check this bar size. So the smaller you make this bar size, the more accurate your exits will be, because it's going to calculate based on the bar size of that. So if you have a 5 range bar, obviously your stops and targets are going to be a lot closer, like your strategy stops and targets. If you got it as like a 1 range bar, it's going to be almost precise. But remember, when you're running optimizations, or even when you're running a strategy, if it's having to access these bars, like a 1 range bar all the time, because that's what it's doing. As the strategy is updating and working, every single bar, it's checking for the daily stops and targets if there's an open position. So if you've got this value too low, you are overworking NinjaTrader. And as you know, NinjaTrader does not like to be overworked. Okay? So you want to try keep this to a manageable size where it's not going to be putting too much pressure on NinjaTrader, the platform. Because remember, NinjaTrader is dealing with a lot of things. It's dealing with major connection between the exchange. Well, it's basically, NinjaTrader is communicating with, the trading platform that runs on the exchange. Okay, so, it has to deal with a lot of information all the time. Okay, so the least amount of work you can give it, basically, the better. Okay, so that is, the idea here. And if for example, like, we're running on a 25-15 on this specific one. So basically, at the end of the day, even if you want to extend this to 25, you can. Okay, because it's still going to calculate on bar close. It'll be very close to where it is anyway. But 10 I found is okay. So keep that in mind when you're running optimizations. You can reduce this down even to a 5, but just bear in mind that the smaller you make this value, the longer it will take your optimizations to run. Okay, so that is that. Now, the next one I made a little adjustment to is the global money management for the account. So you've got the strategies, targets, and stops. So the benefit of having a strategy, targets, and stops, and an account targets and stops is, we've got up to eight strategies running at one time. So what if you want to control what your actual account balance is? Because that's obviously the most important. No matter how many strategies you have running, you want to be able to target a specific dollar amount on your trading account specifically. So that's where this comes into place. Now, if you leave this blank, it won't calculate anything for accounts. And the moment you actually put an account in here, then it will target that specific account. So say, for example, on every single one of my strategies that's running on one account, so say this is my live account. I'm actually going to do this week anyway. I'm going to activate my live account in here. I'm going to choose it over here, and I'm going to check my account balance. Now, the thing is, as soon as you activate your strategies, it's going to take a snapshot of your account balance. So whatever account you have linked over here, it's going to check your account balance. So if say your account balance is 40,000, I think this sim account is $40,000. Okay, that's what it is when I activate it. So if I want to use this first option, I can say use account max value target balance. So I want to say, okay, well, I want to have 45,000. Okay, I want all strategies to stop when my account balance of the trading account that I'm trading on has hit 45,000. Then you put that value in there. You don't put 5,000, you put the total value, because that is your account max value target balance. Okay, so that is that value. Second one is, this is an addition that I've put in this week. It's called use minimum account balance value. So say, for example, again, we're going to use the $40,000. You can say, well, I've got $40,000, but I do not want this to drop below 38,000. Okay, then you put 38,000 in there. Okay, so that is that. So you can use one or many of these options. I'm just showing you each one individually. Or you can say, you know what? I want to use an account stop loss. Okay, so the account stop loss is similar to the minimum value, but you're basically choosing a dollar amount instead of working from a specific account balance. So you're saying, okay, I'm going to use my account stop loss. I don't want my account to drop below or drop $1,000. So account stop loss USD. So out of my whole account, I don't want it to lose more than $1,000. Then that's what you put there. If you want to make this exactly matching your minimum balance, you can put 2,000, right? Because 38,000 is minus 2,000 from the initial balance. So that is if you want to match that. Then you can say account profit target. So you can say same thing here with the stop. You can say, well, I want my entire account to hit a 5,000 profit. Okay, when my account is hit $5,000 profit, then it must stop trading. So that's similar to including that, right? Because we've done it there. So theoretically, if you untick these boxes, then these two will kick in. Or if you just tick these two boxes, you don't even have to use these. So it all depends which one you want to use. I mean, you might specifically just use the one to say, well, I don't want to drop below 38,000, but make as much money as you can. So that there's multiple different configurations of options here to use so that you've got a lot of control. Now, this control is vital because you're obviously working with different performance accounts or funded account programs. You have to make sure that you fit within certain criteria to keep those accounts active. So I've made it my mission to try and help you guys as much as possible to make sure that you can have a lot more control of your trading accounts balances. Okay, so that's that there. And the same thing goes with the trading drawdown. Some of you guys have a trading drawdown restriction, which is on the funded accounts. And you can say, put it in there. Now, the thing is with this, it's pretty accurate with the accounts. It's like, because it's only using a one tick bar, one range bar. But still allow yourself, like if your drawdown is $6,000, don't go put $6,000 in there, because that's obviously, looking for trouble. And you obviously don't want to risk everything on one day, because trading is like a journey. We're not going to be going for broke, straight away. So you're going to make sure you allow yourself some, margin for error and allow you to fight another day. You're not going to go and try win every single day and go for broke every day. Some days you're going to have to retreat a little bit, and that's what this is for. So you can say maybe $2,000. Then you can say, well, I'm not interested in a minimum balance. I just want to make sure that my account doesn't trail more than $2,000. Okay, so that is those settings. That's the update I've done here. Now, I've done a lot of testing on this, so I'm hoping it's working exactly as advertised. But if it's not, I will fix it. I will keep building it. It worked for me perfectly fine, but for somebody else, it didn't quite work, so I wasn't sure. So I've completely reprogrammed this feature. I've completely reprogrammed the entire daily targets and stops, account targets and stops, and hopefully it's exactly how it should work. Okay, so those are the main updates for that. Now, if I activate this strategy, okay, you will see that if I scroll back, if I scroll to any of the entries, like there's the first entry. You see that it says BWT first, B1, 9 a.m. So there's your unique identifier where it says 9 a.m. So every single trade is going to have the words, the characters 9 a.m. at the end. Okay, so whatever you want to put in there, that is going to be listed. Okay, so that's a cool little unique identifier. And I just hope that adding this hasn't uncovered or hasn't created any other problems. I have not seen any. You can put whatever you want in there, and it's basically going to show on the chart. But so I'm hoping that it's all going to work smoothly. But like I said, if it doesn't, we definitely will. I definitely will review it and make sure that it's perfect. So everything I do, I'm always striving for perfection. Okay, so that's how you go and set up your game plan. So it's very good for you guys to review, obviously, the parts of this video with regards to the strategy targets, the daily stops and targets, and I encourage them to use them this week. I can get as much feedback as possible to make sure that those additions, updates have actually worked. Now, for the game plan this week, I have gone a little bit conservative. So I know Christopher has done amazing work on the templates, but I just did my own optimizations this week based on the updates that I've done. And I've gone a little bit more conservative with the entries. So if you look at the entries, you'll see that the profits, we're not targeting as high profits as before and all that. And a question you had, does it show up in the performance reports? Yes. So Christopher, if you go strategy performance and you go real time and historical or real time, whatever, and you go to the trades, you will see the entry name is going to be there. So it's going to be there. So like I said, when you're looking at your trade, even your trade performance for your specific trading account, and you're looking at what, say, your RTY did in real time, you can see all the different entry names with their unique reference numbers, reference letters. I think you can put numbers and letters in there, that's fine. But then you can see what strategy did what. So especially for the guys running the GC, okay? So you guys are, or even the MNQ. So if you're running the GC contracts this week and you have the GC set up with, what can we call this one? We're going to call this the 3 a.m. So we can go to the strategy and we'll go template and we'll go load and we'll choose the GC one, which is the first one, the 3 a.m. one. Okay. And over here, we can choose, we can write there 3 a.m. Okay. And we can activate this one. Okay. So we activate this one like this. And then we go to the next one, which is the GC other one here. Okay. And you can go to the strategies. And when you activate this one, it's funny how it's the same number, 220, I think. Template load. And you go to the 845 one. Okay. This specific one here, you can put there as the, did I pass it? No, it didn't. Oh, I did. There we go. So you can put this as 8:45. Then you know, whatever, AM, right? Yes. 8:45 AM. And then when you activate that, you are actually going to have, so you're going to have two charts running. Okay. So obviously your PM one and your AM one, but then on your trade performance, okay, when you go to your control panel after your trading day and you go new trade performance, then you'll be able to filter it by GC, and then you're able to see all of your trades entered, and it'll tell you which ones were entered on the 9 or the 8:45 and which ones were entered on the 3:45. And obviously you can sort it by time too. But I mean, if you're reviewing like a whole month's worth of activity, then it's so much, then obviously there's a lot more data, and then you can export it to a spreadsheet. You can do whatever you want with that. So it's just a way for you guys to have a little bit more visual, visual understanding or visual points of reference that you can use when managing your strategies. All right, so that is the game plan. So you'll see this week, I've just done I've literally just done a bit of a conservative approach. This one's still loading data for some unknown reason. Normally if you okay, so I'm going to try something here. This one, it looks like this NQ chart is, NinjaTrader said, you know what, I don't feel like loading data. Okay, it says, I refresh the data. You saw I refreshed the data. It says, no, I don't feel like it. Okay, I just don't feel like it. So this is where the script comes into place. So you get the script, and then you select that, and you say, well, let me just scrub NinjaTrader. Let me just clear out all the crap that is, that could be causing an issue. So I'm going to select 3. So number 3 is going to clear out that. And now you should be able to refresh this chart. Okay. If I click on refresh. Okay, I tried. Okay, so control shift and R. So I'm refreshing that, and that should hopefully start working. Okay, so we'll give that some time. And sometimes, if there's some little issue, then you just got to restart NinjaTrader. And if you're working on a VPS, restart the VPS, and even on a computer. I mean, it's a good idea to restart your computer regularly anyway, if you don't already. It's a good idea to restart, because there just could be something just hanging there that is going to cause issues. And if it's causing issues loading data, what will happen when it starts trading? So you're going to make sure that NinjaTrader is responding how it should respond. It's loading all the data it's supposed to load, and working effectively, which is why it's important to load up all the templates and do that. I mean, look, as you can see, the RTY and the GC loaded perfectly. Now, all of a sudden, it's just the MNQ and the NQ which are stuck in the loading. And that's just on my computer. I mean, probably for all of you, it's not happening. But, you know, NinjaTrader behaves differently for everybody. Depends on how you've got your system set up and what you've been doing and, you know, what's happening in the background. But generally, a restart often just clears even further. Now, I am going to work further on the script. So there is more I can do with the script to make NinjaTrader more efficient. I mean, I can do a lot more, but that's just it's a lot more technical, and I got to test the shit out of it because I don't want to do something to NinjaTrader that causes instability. So a lot of the things I'm working on requires lots and lots of testing. But you know, there's definitely ways of you know, making this more effective. But yeah, I think just a restart on my side will be the idea here. Okay, so let's continue. So let's have a look at our results for last week. So if I look at my results, or the results for last week. So what was last week? If I go to my calendar, it was 20th to 24th, right? Okay, so 20th. Anyway, you guys can look through this. Anybody can go to the group results and go and look at all the results. So I'm not going to go through all the results. I know we had amazing results this week. I only traded the first couple of days, I think. And there were some points over here that were made. So yeah, Mike, I believe I've resolved this issue with the stop loss. So let's get this thing, let's retest that this week. Okay, so we discussed that Wednesdays. Okay, so Christopher did optimizations and he basically picked up that Wednesdays were not performing. So he's done extra optimizations for the Wednesday. So that's something you guys can look at. You know, for the guys who are not running the specific game plan templates, you can also download the templates that Christopher has provided. They obviously he's got really good consistency with that, which is great. So what was happening here? Let me just see. So this attempting to modify historical order, I've done a lot of back-end work on that. So hopefully that is resolved also. This was regarding the strategy performance. Okay, that's all sorted. Where else was I? Thanks for that, guys, for your posting results. It's really amazing. Stephen, good work on there too. I really appreciate how you have gone and, you know, specifically listed everything you've done, you know, what each strategy did, what you did around it. If you paused it, that's good, because that just shows that you got a lot of control. So the more control you have, the more consistency you are going to have too. Because I mean, trading is all about being consistent and doing everything very strategically. I mean, you can't, that's why emotional traders will shit themselves, because everything's very strategic with trading. You've got to be very controlled over everything that you're doing. Okay, so that's that. Baseline week trader. Okay, so with the baseline week trader, these are the templates. So thanks for this again. Oh, optimization. Okay, cool. Let's cover this. So I mentioned in here that when you're optimizing, optimize the exact same settings for NQ and MNQ using the same comparative daily stops on MNQ, which is 10 times smaller than NQ. Then when both are completed, their optimization runs, see which setting on NQ delivered the best results and find the first one on the MNQ list that matches it. So the same A and B settings. Now, that is what we can quickly look at. So I'm just going to restart the server. Okay, so you see how this is still loading, okay? You see how NinjaTrader is just like stuck in this loading over here. Everything else is working, but just those are loading. So who knows what the hell's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close NinjaTrader. Okay, I'll save it. But then I'm also going to, restart. So I'm going to go power restart. So I'm restarting my server. So that's going to kick me out, and now I'm back to my desktop. Okay, so I'll give that a moment to restart, and then we will tackle that. So I'm going to just try reconnect to it. Give it, let's see. Okay, I'm attempting to reconnect. Now, obviously it has to restart, so it might take a few seconds. You know, I've got a nice dedicated server from Chart to VPS. It should be going fine. It just might take a minute or two just to reboot. Okay, so it's still not ready. I'll just keep trying. So I hope you guys have learned a little bit from what I've just been sharing. Okay, so there we go. It's now restarted, and now I can go and open up NinjaTrader. Now I can use the script to open up NinjaTrader, which is the very best thing to do, obviously, because that's what is going to make sure that it's running very well. So I'm gonna run I always run number 4. I always like to run number 4 because that basically just completely flushes everything out, clears up any stuff that NinjaTrader is holding on to, flushes the memory, and restarts it as clean. Now, like I said, I'm still going to do more to make it even, more effective. But for right now, that's kind of where we are at. So once that is restarting, the script is doing its thing. NinjaTrader should start activating. Okay, which it does. Now it's loading that workspace because that's the last workspace that I had open. So it's automatically going to load that workspace. Okay, and then what I can do is I can go reload all historical. Let's start with NQ this time. Okay, reload all historical data, and then reload all historical data, reload all historical data, and reload all historical data. Okay, so now those are the 4 charts. Now, obviously, it's going to download all the information fresh, which is what it's doing. So because we cleared everything out with the script, it's now going to basically download all of the back-end history of this. So RTY is still loading. It says loading over there in the background. So anybody else having a similar issue where you're reloading data and it's just taking forever? You can pop in a question or pop it in there. Okay. Yeah, it does happen. So also what you can do is walk away for a short while. And another thing you can also do, I suppose, is you can go into your settings and you can choose. Oh, no, there we go. See, look, it's starting to show signs of life. Okay, so that's loading. Okay, everything's still loading in the background, which is fine. I mean, the good thing about what we're doing here, the script, is we're actually clearing out all the back-end data that we did before, that we ran, which we did also earlier, but maybe a restart was the actual best thing to do. what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to leave this strategy analyzer there. Okay, I'm going to leave that strategy analyzer there. I'm going to go new strategy analyzer. Okay, so we'll just let that work in the background. And we're going to do what we said on that. So I'm going to go and run that optimization. Now, another way to get the data to quickly wake up is go to your optimization and the baseline week trader, and you can go template, load, and you can choose the one that you were working with. Okay, so MNQ or NQ 5030 load. I just want to check behind. Okay, it's still loading. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to do this is another way to force the reloading. Okay, so what we're going to do over here is we're going to run this optimization. Let's run this optimization on the NQ between, let's just go 2 to 10 and 2 to 58. Now, you're going to notice over here that I'm actually going to disable the daily stops and targets. Okay, so ideally what I want to do when I'm doing my first optimization is I want to see what can these settings do if they're not restricted. If they're not restricted by daily stops and targets, what can they actually do? So 9 till 11:45, we leave everything else the same, but we're just going to run the optimization. So NQ 5030, and we're doing the same dates. Okay, and then we're going to click on run. Now, while that's running, you can right click on this and go duplicate in new tab. Okay, do that while it's running. Okay, good idea to do it while it's running, because that way it's not going to say, do you want to duplicate? Do you want to rerun the optimization? Blah, blah, blah. Every time that you duplicate this while it is running, it's not going to force you to go and run a new optimization. It's just going to give you a blank sheet, you see? Well, not a blank sheet, a pre-filled sheet, basically with all the settings in there. Okay, so that's that one there. So we've duplicated it in a new tab, which we're going to use in a moment. Okay, so let's first look at the NQ and look at what this one is telling us. And I'll go through why this is a good idea in a moment, once I've actually shown you guys what I'm looking at. Okay, so you'll see that took about 1 minute 15 seconds to run that optimization. Okay, so that is the result of this strategy for that period of time without any daily stops and targets. Okay, so that's what that would have done. Now, if you go, remember this is only trading for 2 hours, right? So if you go to the analysis, you can see, okay, well, I can see the results is 4,000, but most of the results are around quite low, but there was a $2,500 day. Okay, so then you're looking, so from this point, you can actually decide, okay, well, what should my daily stops and targets be based on historical performance, what has worked without restrictions, and then how can I better those results by applying some restrictions? And that's how you determine what your daily stops and targets are to begin with. Now, obviously, you can optimize further on. Okay, so that's what we've done. Okay, we've run the NQ. Now, I'm going to do the exact same thing on this other chart, but instead of NQ, I'm going to go MNQ. Okay, so I'm going to run MNQ, and you'll see there we're keeping the same A and B setting optimization, the same entries. So this is the reason why you duplicate a new tab. You duplicate it in a new tab because it's going to pre-populate every single thing that you need, or every single thing that matches the NQ optimization. Okay, so same thing over there. We're not going to be using strategy stops and targets, and we're going to run this. Okay, so this is running, as you see, the exact A and B setting optimization, the same stop ticks, target ticks, everything's matching except for we're doing it on MNQ instead. And I imagine that the same thing would apply if you're doing, you know, RTY, M2K, GC, MGC. If you're doing, you know, all the contracts that have got their micro bastard sons. You know what I mean? We'll cover more on that in a moment too. So for those of you who might not know, NQ, so MNQ is not actually a legitimate contract. Okay, MNQ is basically a micro version of the NQ. It's like MNQ is the bastard son of a. Actually, I shouldn't say anymore. But it's basically, they're basically synchronizing. So the whole time MNQ is being synchronized to match NQ the whole time. Okay, so sometimes that synchronization is completely out of whack. Okay, it's completely out of whack, and sometimes it runs very smoothly. So this is why when you're doing an optimization, you can look at the settings over here. So if you look at these settings of the NQ, you can see how synchronized the instrument actually is. So the benefit with the SI indicator, the indicator behind these strategies, is it has got a shitload of checks and balances. It is analyzing the shit out of price. It's analyzing every single bar. It's analyzing so much information about that bar, and it's keeping record of that, and those records are generating the signals. So if two instruments are synchronized properly, like the MNQ and the NQ, the best thing to do is to find the best settings that are synchronizing both of them. So you'll see the best result on NQ was a 336, but the best result on the MNQ was a 232. Now you can go down here and look for the 336. So you see over here, 336. So if we look over here, we can look for that 336. It's not actually even there. Okay, so 336 is not synchronized with the MNQ. But if you look at the next one, you'll see a 220 over there. Okay, there's the 220, and here is the 220. So this is telling me that the 220 is the most synchronized value settings of A and B between the instruments. So that's why I said earlier, use the same settings. So I would say, if you want to run this successfully, you can run the 220 based on whatever optimization you've done over here, the settings that you've done, the tick distances, all of that. So that is a way of further fine tuning what you are doing, because like I said, MNQ is not actually a legitimate contract to trade. I mean, you're not going to trade it's basically a son of the NQ, and the whole time they have to synchronize the MNQ with the NQ so the bars look the same. Okay, they have to do that. The price has to always kind of a catch up with the NQ. I mean, that's obvious, right? Because they're trying to make it the same instrument. I mean, at the end of the day, if MNQ was traded individually, it will be a completely different price to NQ. Okay, it will be completely different. But because it's tied to NQ, obviously being its micro equivalent, they have to synchronize it. So that is basically what this is doing. So I know this is a lot more in-depth analysis of what we're doing, but if you look at the two charts, you'll see over here that most of the bars are 100% lined up. Okay, so you'll see how the bars form. I should have had this on a separate window. I can't really do that now. Okay, well, let's just look at one example. Okay, and this is what I meant by the absolute technicality of what we're looking at over here. So if you go local and say, for example, you put your mouse on this first bar over here and you hold your mouse down, you'll see it says 24th of May, 11/13/02, 486. Okay, 11/13/02, 486. That's the time of that bar. Okay. Now we do the same thing on this chart. Okay, same thing over here. Local. 11, 13, 25, 186. So you see there's a different time there. Now it's the same, it looks like the same bar, because what's happened is they're synchronizing the bar formation across the instruments. So this is the closest. So you can see 11, 13, 25, 186. 11, 13, 125, 186. 11, 13, 25, 486. So you see this like microseconds differences between the two charts. But even with all of that, so like everything about this chart, everything about it, except for most of the bars are going to match the NQ chart. So with regards to them being synchronized, these settings are the highest synchronized settings that should be working, because those are the ones that are matching. So if you're running the MNQ chart, I would run these settings 220. Okay, so this is like, it's just a bit of deeper analysis into what we're doing. So I know that is a bit deeper than a lot of you might want to go. Okay, but that's what we've done over there. Now I've actually chosen on the game plan, I've chosen 222. Okay. So I've chosen 222, and that's what I've done on the game plan, because I wasn't completely focusing on this very aspect. I was taking a few other things in play, but this could be changed to 220. So that's what you can also be doing. So there's the 222. As you can see, MNQ is very similar. So 220, 222, very, very similar. Okay, there's going to be very, very similar signals generated by that. But, you know, this is what you can keep in mind when you're doing your own optimizations, when you're doing your own, because I mean, this could be really treated as a business. I mean, doing optimizations, I mean, what we just covered now with regards to the strategy analyzer and trying to synchronize different instruments. I mean, that nobody has ever spoken about that. I've never, ever heard anybody ever go into any detail whatsoever on optimization of instruments. So that is just one of the ways that you could be more serious and treat it more like a business, by actually analyzing a little bit deeper into what makes up the optimization. How can you synchronize the best settings? And that's just obviously going to add to your overall performance. Okay, what else was there that I needed to cover? I think that is it. Oh, okay, one more little thing. Okay, so I'm going to show you one extra layer of detail on this now, okay? One extra little layer, and that is going to involve the signal. So I'm going to just run this again. Okay, I'm going to run this again, and I'm actually just showing the vertical lines. So this time I'm just going to show the vertical lines on here. That to run, and so even though we have done the optimization, we're still having this chart not load for some reason. Okay, so do we duplicate it in a new window? Okay, so all I've done there is I've duplicated the chart in a new window and closed the other chart. And look, all of a sudden, all the data is there. Okay, so like there's little tricks you got to do with NinjaTrader. You know, you got to try different little things. So like there we go. So now if I go to the strategy now, and I choose the NQ, the baseline week trader, or the strategy which you're trading, obviously, and I go template, load, and obviously we're doing that one there, which is the NQ for that specific chart. You know, that is going to be loaded on there, right? Now remember, I haven't updated my account balances or anything. I'm just purely activating the strategy. Okay, so obviously all the data is loaded, so everything's fine. Now you see on the MNQ chart, it still says loading over there. So if I go to my data series, if I try add the strategy, it's going to say you cannot remove a strategy until your request has been completed loading historical data. But this could be in a freaking infinite loop. You know, there's no specific, I don't think there's any programmed back stops here to say, okay, if this has stopped, if this hasn't loaded for X amount of time, then refresh the chart. I mean, there's nothing like that. So you've got to right click on this, go duplicate window, exit the one behind, and use the new one that you duplicated as your chart. Okay, so that is another way of, you know, forcing NinjaTrader into submission. Really, that's what we're doing, right? We're trying to just figure out why the hell this thing is doing what it's doing, and obviously, you know, it's got its own reasons which we don't know. And who knows, there might just be some little back-end process that we've missed. But anyway, by doing that, we force the data all to load, and now we can go to our strategies, and this is the second tab, right? So we can go back to our baseline wick trader, and we can go template, load, and we're going to choose the one, this was the second template, okay, 2 entries only, MNQ, and then obviously you can go to your trading chart and go and load that up, look at the game plan, and check if the results match. Okay, so let's go back to that optimization, because I'll just wait to see the strategy is loading. So there we go. It just needed to be duplicated. Okay, so the baseline wick trader. Now, this, as you guys have noticed, this is a damn good strategy, and it's entering multiple positions. And these are the lines. So every single time a line is drawn, a vertical line, that's a signal. Okay, every single time a vertical line is drawn, that's a signal. And if the price does not go and touch those limit orders, because it submits a limit order as soon as those lines are drawn, if a vertical line, if the price doesn't touch those limit orders and the signal changes, it's going to exit those limit orders and create new limit orders. So that's all that it's doing all the time. It's basically creating, it's generating these signals. So if you're seeing a lot of these, it just means that signals were generated, limit orders were put in place, but the price never touched them. So as an example, here's the orange one, okay? Here's the orange one. Now, if you go to your, if you go to the indicator settings, you should be able to load up the SI indicator. So I know this is going a little bit more technical again, but some of you guys will really appreciate this. So over here, you're going to see it says uptrend, first repaint color. So these are the colors. Now it says repaint. I probably should rename this. It's actually signal. It's like first signal, second signal, third signal, fourth signal. First signal, second signal, third signal, fourth signal for the downside. But these are the colors. So when you see these colors, you know which specific signal generated over there. Okay, that's why you got the white, you got the cyan, you know, so you got magenta, you got all these signals there. And what happens is this last one, okay, this last one was a coral. So you see this one says coral, this last one was the third signal. So if you go look at this third signal, what happened is it put limit orders, the price went and touched those limit orders and then hit their targets. So that is what you're looking at with regards to the indicator submitting signals. Now, coming back to this, the strategy, what you can do over here is you can choose your entry. So now we've chosen the first entry to be 50 ticks, 60 ticks, 70 ticks, 80 ticks. So they're going to be 10 ticks apart, 50 ticks from the signal. So this is how it actually works. So the signal is generated on this bar, okay? So the beginning of the bar, it's going to measure that 50 ticks, okay? I'm a little bit off, but as you can see, so the first one will be 50. First one will be 50, and obviously the second one is going to be 60. Okay, almost 60, but you can see 50, 60, 70. So this specific one, the price never reached as high as the fourth entry. See that the fourth entry says true, and it's 80 ticks. The price never hit the 80 tick mark. It stopped just past the 70 and reversed. So that's why this specific strategy or this specific entry was only 3 entries, because it only touched the first 3. Now, the reason why I'm also showing you this is because you can look at your chart and you could decide, okay, so I'm going to be entering positions. Where can I make sure that how far should I place my limit orders away from the entry bar, and what tick value should I place them so that, you know, the entries can be very effective. So obviously with this, you know, what happened here, the signal generated, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So basically it went 9 bars. Now we've got a limit here. It says close limit orders after X bars. And I put 20 over there. So if 20 bars had passed, these limit orders would cancel. So it's we're basically choosing a time frame of how long limit orders are, what's the word I'm looking for? Valid for. Okay, how long they are valid for. And then if the validity expires, then those limit orders are going to cancel too. But this is a good way of being able to check your history of all the trades that are entered. Okay, you can look at all the trades that have entered by the strategy on your analysis, and you can evaluate where those entries are. So like, there we go. Another thing you'll see, entry signal. So there's the entry signal. There's the first entry. Entry signals, there's your entries. Entry signal is the yellow. So there's the yellow, and that's where it entered. So that's basically a way of just looking at your entries and making sure that, you know, and who knows, you might even discover some sort of a pattern over here. You might say, well, wow, okay, if the price is going in a direction, like in a trending direction for a time, it's likely going to reverse, because market doesn't always trend in one direction. You see, it's often just going to go straight down and then retrace a little bit. So that's what this strategy does. We're expecting the price to run in a specific direction for a short period of time and then reverse, because this is going to generate a signal. The limit orders are going to be placed X amount of ticks away from price, and then the price is going to move. It's going to run in that direction, and we are trying to work out what is the most likely point of trades entering, and what is the most likely point of the price reversing before the stops are hit. So that's what optimization does. So a lot of people don't put a lot of care and attention or understanding into optimization, but it can actually be a very, very complex, detailed thing. And I think the more you know about the process, the more you can use it in your favor. Okay, so this turned out to be a freaking optimization masterclass instead of well, that's fine. What the hell? Whatever I feel like covering, we cover. You know, because I mean, this was pertinent to the updates that I had made this week. So now, obviously, because we are able to, you know, get these stops and targets. Obviously, we never use stops and targets there. But I mean, we did use stops and targets. Sorry, we didn't use the daily stops and targets. And now then we can obviously go and, you know, fine tune that more. So you can say, okay, well, now that you've decided where you want your trades to enter, how many ticks away from price, and try and make sure to have the trades enter and exit on different bars. Then you're going to have the most historical accurate results. Because even if you go to this chart, you're going to see like these trades over here. Okay, these trades, they were buy trades and they exited. Now, if for some reason this bar went and closed below, the next bar went and closed below, these trades would actually have been losing trades. But that doesn't happen frequently enough to cause a huge change in our results, because very, very often we're going to have the price go up, retrace, go down, retrace. Okay, that's why we're doing that. So if you are looking at your optimization results and you are seeing entries and exits on the same bar too frequently, you've got to be able to account for if the price, goes down. Now, like over here, you can see the price didn't, there's the entries, but the price didn't go down enough to show a profit. So these ones ended at a stop, right? So not always is it's going to give you incorrect signals, like, not always. But if these stops and targets were less, some of them would have shown on this bar, which is why it's a good idea to put them, out of range. But generally, you've got to look at your data and make sure that, it's okay to have some of the trades enter and exit on the same bar, but you've got to keep the average of that down, because that's going to prevent the situation where you have the price running in one direction. The analyzer is going to tell you that the trades were successful, but in real time, they would have actually been losers, on those specific bars. So the less you can do that, the better. Now, like I said, very often you're going to have a situation where those trades are going to be profitable anyway, because we've accurately optimized the likely retracement point. So yeah, that's just a bit of extra thing, you could look at with regards to your optimizations. And, the last thing we'll cover on this, when you go into your analysis, because remember, we haven't optimized daily stops and targets, right? We've just optimized the strategy of what the best settings of the strategy can go and do. So now you can go and, choose your stops and targets. So as an example, you can do this. So we've got, okay, so even if you're working, so let's work with 220, because we discovered that 220 was the best values, right? Okay, so we can go to 220. We're going to make this 220 now, okay? Because this is the same value that works on NQ and MNQ, so 220. Now we're going to say, okay, fine. We know that those are the best synchronized settings for the strategy. Now, what should we be looking at with regards to daily stops and targets at the strategy level? So you can say, okay, well, let's see, because obviously we've seen there's some higher amounts of 3,000, but there's also been some lower amounts. Okay, so let's optimize up until, let's optimize up until 3,000 even. Look, there's a 3,500. I mean, you can go up to 5,000, but hey, let's go to this, keep it at 5,000. We always go a bit ahead. Okay, and then we can see, okay, well, we don't really want to experience, well, this one didn't actually have many losing days. It only had that one losing day overall. Okay, but then you can still say, okay, well, based on the historic of other trades or other settings, you can kind of get an idea of what the best performing ones should be as their daily stops and targets. So again, we can go to 2,000 to 2,000 is probably a bit low. That's fine. 2,000 to 500, and I'll go 250 just because we can. And over here, I'm going to say, okay, well, I'm prepared to go. Remember, I'm working off a 10 tick bar. So if I'm going to have 10 trades open, which are going to be 1, 1, 1, 1. So that's basically 4 lots of trades. 4 lots of trades is going to be $20 a tick. So 20 times 10 is 200. So that means for every single 10 tick bar or 10 range bar, I'm risking $200. Okay, so you can say, okay, and then you can multiply this by the values. And if this is a bit technical for some of you, don't worry about it, because this is just the back end stuff we're doing for optimizations, which eventually you'll get onto. So you're going to work out there. I said 200, right? So 200. So we're going to go. Okay, so let's go from $2,000, or we can even go lower. Let's go from 1,600 to 500 in 200, or actually in let's just make this an even number so we can go in 200 increments. Okay, so obviously you got to have the right increments of the value. So 200 goes into 600, 1600 and 200, 2800, right? So then we're going to select those two. And you might decide, hey, you know, you don't actually want to use the strategy target. You want to rather use the trailing drawdown, and you can only use that one. Or you could also use it. But I'm just going to use this now. And then we're going to run that. So now this is only going to optimize the dollar value of your strategy. Okay, and this will be a quicker optimization because you've gone and reduced the size of the iterations that the strategy is going to be running. So we'll let this go. Sorry, a bit of a longer call than expected, but you guys can just come back to it, you know, in other times. It's not, yeah, you can just revisit parts of this down the track. I'm probably not going to go into this much detail again, so hopefully you guys will pinpoint this. Okay, so there we go. So now we've got the settings over here. So this is telling us on the 2000, you know, on those specific settings that we've got, okay, if we only want to risk a certain amount, 2,400 is the value that's coming up there. So you see 2498, very, very close. If we go to the chart, and we look at the 23rd of May, now at any time, if you're looking at a chart and you want to know, oh shit, there's so many days over here, you know, where the hell's the day? You can just right click on the chart, go to your properties, and then click on show date range. Okay, show date range. And that's showing you 24th of May. Then it's very easy to go back to any day because all you do is you scroll to that day on the top of the chart. Okay, so obviously 23 was over here. What day were we looking for? We were looking for 23rd of May for 2,400 loss. Okay. Okay, that's 24th of May. Okay, so we're going to scroll to the 23rd of May. Okay, which is this one over here. Okay, here we go. So there's our trades. We had trades. The price continued down. They hit their stops. Okay, then the strategy entered some more trades over here. And notice how the strategy exited those trades on the bar. Okay, so it entered those positions and then it hit its stop loss. Okay, now if you did not have this 10 tick range bar over here, this strategy would actually have exited at the close of that bar. So all of a sudden you are now saving, okay, even on a loss. This is how it's getting closer. So if you take the average of these two positions, you are actually saving 31 ticks of profit, or sorry, of going deeper down the hole. So what's happened is, you know, that's what this is doing, this 10, okay? So it's making sure that in 10 range increments, it is monitoring the value of the strategy, daily stops and targets, and as soon as it hits a value where it's retraced from its high 10 ticks, okay, it's saying, okay, well, that's too far now, we've got to stop you out. Okay, so if you had this as a larger value, so if I had this as, let's make this 50 as an example. Okay, if you had this as 50, oh shit, what happened there? Okay, I've done something out of whack here. Okay, just give me 1 second. NinjaTrader is in a loop of destruction. So probably not 50. Okay. Let me just see what's going on over here. I don't know what the hell that was. I'm just going to close off these errors. Okay, so I've done that. I'm just check something. So maybe that 50 is not a good idea. Why did a 50 not work? Maybe it was too large. It was probably too large of a value. Okay. But let's make it 20 and see what happens there. Okay. So let's see if that's okay. So 20 is working. So for some reason, fuck knows why, but for some reason 50 is too big for NinjaTrader. Now that could be, it could be that, sorry, I had my screen thing. So it could be that there's a lot of shit, there's a lot of technical stuff behind the scenes, but basically the strategy has to wait for X amount of bars of the trading day to pass first before calculations are made. And if some bars are calculated differently to other bars, it could cause unacceptable handle issues, which we saw over there. So I might just have to add an extra little line of code to say, don't process this bar until X amount have passed. Okay, but anyway, besides that, we've gone in and slightly adjusted that. So if we go back to the 23rd of this date, okay, you've got the strategy exiting a little bit higher up on that. Okay. See, now it's 2.7. You see, so the value has gone up a little bit higher because we're using a slightly larger bar to evaluate the stops and the targets. Now, if I might do this as 2. I just don't want this damn thing to crash on me, but I don't think it will. But if you made this 2 now, okay, this optimization will take even longer to run. Because every time you change the value of the bar sizes in the strategy, it has to load up all that data. So it's basically loading a lot of data in 2 range bar increments for all the period that you're optimizing. So you got to understand that you could be putting NinjaTrader under a lot of extra processing power by limiting the value of the bar size to check the range. Now, I mean, often it can handle it, which is why you got to keep restarting NinjaTrader, cleaning out all the crap in the background. Because remember, many of you might not even know this, is that whenever you load a data series in, whether it's on a chart, an analyzer, or whatever, it stays in NinjaTrader. It stays there indefinitely. And every single time you start NinjaTrader, every time you're doing anything, it's got memory of that data series. So that's why it's important to clean it out regularly, which is what that script does. So, as soon as you start, working with all different bar sizes, all different strategies, you're getting a huge accumulation of data that's being held inside NinjaTrader. And that's why having a script is damn amazing. And for people watching who don't have a script, you're obviously not a member of DTB Traders because you would have it. But if you really, really wanted to do this manually, you need to go to Tools, Database Management, Reset Database, Repair, like this, doing all of these processes here. Okay, that's what the script is basically doing that automatically. That's what the script is doing. So it's saving you the manual process of having to go in and do all of this, manually. Now, as you can see, it's taking a lot longer to actually process because of that. So while that's running, I just want to check. I don't make notes for these calls, which is probably a bad thing because I can probably be a lot more structured on these calls and cover very specifics. But I do try cover any questions you guys send in. And I do work on those things, which you can see has been done. But what else can we cover? I was just looking through my notes while I was doing work on the stuff. Let's see. Oh, okay. There's one little setting we can work on. Oh, Okay, one more little thing we can cover after this, which is quite important actually. Oh, well, we can do it now while this is running. So in your tools options, okay, tools options, automatic trading interface, there's now a new setting there which says ignore duplicate OIF files. Okay. Now, OIF stands for order instruction files. So what this is saying is that if you have this ticked, NinjaTrader, if it receives any extra orders to cancel or any extra orders that are out of place, it's going to ignore them. So this could potentially help with, extra orders or making sure, because I mean, NinjaTrader is sending and receiving orders all the time. And sometimes it acts on orders and then those have a ripple effect on other orders, and an order could be closed, but then it's trying to close it again. The strategy is trying to close it again because it doesn't know what's happening, in the back with NinjaTrader. So it's acting in a specific way, but so the strategy is processing orders in a very systematic way, but NinjaTrader is not receiving those orders in the same structured way. So very often you'll have some orders filled before others because it's just how NinjaTrader receives their orders and get submitted to the to the trading platform that NinjaTrader works off. Because remember, NinjaTrader is submitting orders to another trading platform. So it's not you, NinjaTrader Exchange. No, it's you, NinjaTrader, another trading platform that works on the exchange. So all those communication, there could be mismatch of communication there with the sequence of orders. So I think what they've done here is they've tried to mitigate that by having this option here to ignore, the order instruction files. So you can have that ticked, okay, and see if that makes a difference, and let me know if it does, okay. All right. So there we go. Now you see this amount here. Now it's all of a sudden 2438. So it's like it's basically right on target. It's like $20 per tick times 2 ticks is $40. It's like exactly exited where it should have, like precisely, because it's within 2 ticks. If you make this 1, it'll probably go to 24218. But I mean, you don't have to be so precise on your values. The only time you have to be so exceptionally precise on your values is if you're right at the end of your trading drawdown limit, or you can't lose a certain amount and you're trying to push the very limit, but that's obviously not advisable. You should be working within a range that you can comfortably, deal with, your account can deal with. Okay, but as you can see, that's how that works. So, leave it on 10. I would say 10 is a fair amount. So also make sure that whatever strategy you are working with, work out what is the most amount of contracts that you are entering. So count the amount of contracts, okay? Work out how much per tick all of that equates to, and then come down over here and say, okay, if I'm at max contracts and I have 10 ticks where the price could go away from me, what is that value? And in this case, it's $200. So you know that it could be anywhere up to $200 difference between your actual stop and the stop that you've selected there. And obviously decreasing it, like we've done in the last few minutes, is decreasing that amount of value. Cool. That's it, guys. I'm done. Thank you so much for jumping on the call. There weren't any more questions, but yeah, hopefully this was very instructional, informational, and this is the type of thing that I like to go into, because when I'm designing these strategies and I'm creating, all these different things behind the scenes, you have to go really in depth into the workings of the platform and the optimization processes. There's so much that has to be understood before you could even create amazing tools, which is why I've launched a system of tools, as you can see. but I'm constantly working on that system. Whereas a lot of companies or people, they will design one indicator and then market the hell out of it, sell it, and then move to the next thing. They're never actually perfecting what they have. So my goal, or what I've been doing all these years, is having one system with all these tools inside and continually chip away at making each of them better and better and better and better and better. Every process better and better and better, because that is how you become consistent, by, focusing on the tiny, minute things that otherwise you would not really pick up if you're just going from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. Because a lot of these companies that are selling these tools are marketing companies. They don't actually give a shit about the product itself. They'll develop one thing, market it, move to the next, and that's their model. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, a lot of businesses make things to sell and make something else and sell, but I'm more like deliver the absolute best and continue making it better. So that's why you guys are with DTB Traders, right? Because you can see the amount of attention and the amount of persistence and determination that I have to make this system the absolute best, so that we can scale this to a multi-billion-dollar company that can be helping traders all over the world, because we have developed a system from the absolute core parts. Right. There's my thing. Guys, have an amazing week. Please continue posting your results like I've been doing, or like you all have been doing. It's really good. It shows the community out there who are, eventually we're going to have so many people using the DTB system, and they're going to be reviewing these videos because they're going to want to have a deeper understanding of how, what we're looking at, what are the different ways of working. And, it's really going to, continue, just showing what the system is, what it can achieve. And, the guys that are here, thank you so much. And the guys that are on their way or still are discovering DTB Traders, you're going to be damn happy you did. Hey guys, have an amazing week, and we shall chat to you again. Okay. Thanks guys. Cheers.